God says the time is now. The time is now. No longer will you walk around not knowing who you are. No longer will you walk around in a dark place. No longer can you walk around in depression. No longer will you walk around with anxiety. No longer will you walk around in fear. No longer will you walk around not knowing who you are. No longer will you walk around allowing the enemy to determine your next move. No longer can we walk around like this. God says the time is now. What time is it? The time is now for you to walk into the authority that God has called you to walk into. The time is now for you to walk into the power that God has granted you to have. The time is now for you to realize that you were created in His image. So since you were created in His image, you have the same authority to speak back to those demons. You have the same authority to speak back to them haters. You have the same authority to speak back to them doubters that's in your head. God said the time is now. No longer will you allow the enemy to determine your thoughts. No longer can you allow the enemy to determine your moves. God said it's time to live in your purpose. In Luke chapter 13, verses 10 through 17, we can find a lady here who was bent over for 18 years due to the spirit of infirmity. And notice I say spirit. It wasn't nothing physical wrong with the lady, but it says a spirit had her bent over for 18 years. So I want you to examine that spirit. So what spirit has you down in this season? What spirit has you bent over in this season? It can be depression, it can be anxiety, it can be doubt, or it can be your own mind. What spirit has you bound in this spirit? What spirit has you to the point where you can't stand up? See, this spirit who was in this lady who was bent over for 18 years in the Bible, she was to a point where she was bent over and couldn't stand up. God said you can't even stand up and walk into the authority that I have called you to walk into because of this spirit. You can't even see what I am doing in this season because of this spirit. God said the spirit has to go in the name of Jesus. I rebuke every spirit that has been placed over your life. I rebuke every spirit that has been called and set upon your life. Depression would not have your mind. Anxiety would not have your mind. Fear would not have your mind. You not knowing who you are through God would not have you in the name of Jesus. God said those spirits has to go in this season in the name of Jesus. So what spirit has you bound? It must go right now in the name of Jesus. God said the time is now. The time is now. And what's so interesting about this story, although this lady was bent over for 18 years in the Bible due to the spirit of infirmity, this lady still found herself in the presence of God. This lady still found herself in the presence of God. So where do you find yourself in the midst of these spirits that's trying to determine your life? Where do you find yourself in the midst of these spirits that's trying to keep you in bed and not knowing who you are? Where do you find yourself in the midst of these spirits that's trying to keep you bound in this season? Where do you find yourself? Do you find yourself in the presence of God? And see, this lady found herself in the presence of God, and guess what? God healed her immediately. It wasn't a delay in the midst of her healing. God healed this lady immediately because she was in the presence. So make sure in this season, if you are under attack, if you do have a spirit that got you bound, not knowing who you are, make sure you find yourself in the presence of God. Make sure you believe with your whole heart and your whole mind that God is able to set you free. And you have to decree and declare of your life with the authority that God has given you, that you have the power to cast out every demon and every demonic attack that's over your life, that's over your mind, that's over your heart. It has to go in the name of Jesus. And that's how exactly you got to speak to them demons, because it ain't nothing but demons that's trying to keep you down. It ain't nothing but demons that know where you're going trying to keep you down. And I had told my friend earlier this morning before even making this video, I said, see, the devil can't play with your future. The devil can only play with your surroundings and what he knows about your life right now. See, God knows where you're going, but the enemy doesn't know where you're going, so he tries to keep you stuck in a place because he know where you at right now, and he know that if you go any further, you're going somewhere. You're going somewhere. He has to keep you in a place of being stuck. So remove every demonic attack that's over your life. If this video is for you, baby, the devil got to flee in the name of Jesus. This is is still your year. Although we are in the month of August, God said this is still your year. God said what took them 5 years may take him 5 minutes. What took them 10 years may only take you 3 months. God said do not look at your position. Do not look at your finances. Do not look at the support system in this season. God said it's still able to happen. God bless y'all.